big fights, big cards. Let's get right into it. I'm not wasting time. I've been trying to do this intro for anyways. Rainier de Ritter versus Anthony Hernandez is the biggest fight that has been announced today at the time of this recording. It is the main event of UFC Vancouver, which we're going to talk about that and some of the upcoming fights for the rest of 2025. But this is the true number one contenders fight here. You know, look, Amavo Braujo, that's all nice and dandy. And freaking, what other fights are? That's it, really. But this is the best number one contenders fight kind of in the sport, dare I say. I mean, of course, you got like Armin and Pimblett or something like that. But this, to me, is the guy versus the other guy. So I love this fight. It kind of came as a shock to me, to be honest with you. Like, I didn't expect for this to even be made, let alone be announced today, let alone be announced for a month from now or 2 months from now, I believe. So pretty insane, pretty quick turnaround for both guys. Both guys have had insane years as well. Both guys have had insane runs. I mean, Rainier de Ritter has legitimately fought Kevin Holland in January, like Bo Nichols sometime in like March or May, I believe. He just fought Robert Whittaker for 5 rounds. Now he's making a quick turnaround and is going to fight Anthony Hernandez. Insane, bro. That's insane to me. So, you know, I said in my video the other day, like, if I had to choose between giving Hernandez or, you know, freaking RDR the title shot, I would have went with Hernandez, right? But I said, these are the two guys that I would worry about most if I'm Khamzat Chimaev. To me, these are the stylistical, I wouldn't say nightmares, but these guys have the best chance to beat Khamzat Chimaev, in my opinion, right? No offense to Amavo, Braujo, or anyone else. And they made the fight. So, like, the two guys that I believe are the best matchups against the champion, they just mashed them together. I love this, man. I can't glaze the UFC enough. You know, they've really been cooking with the matchups lately. So this is one of the matchups they've been cooking with. It's a 5-rounder. It's a main event. Finally, Canada gets a good main event. I'm not Canadian, so I don't really give a shit. But, you know, still, it's pretty cool that you guys get something for all you Canadians watching. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. I think Anthony Hernandez is going to win. Just to say that, like an early prediction, I'm going to lean towards Hernandez winning. I love RDR. Don't get me wrong. And, I mean, I love Hernandez as well. I become a real big Hernandez fan over the last couple of fights. But I just think he's going to win. You know, I worry about the knees to the body from RDR. And he does have really, really good pressure. And he does probably have the strength advantage. But also, when I say that, though, Hernandez is pretty deceptively strong. Like, he does have that flabby Mexican physique, but he's deceptively very strong. He has insane cardio, really great jiu-jitsu. I don't really see him being held down by RDR for, like, extended periods of time. You know, his striking is pretty underrated as well. Whereas RDR's is good, but it's goofy, but it's good. Both guys have great chins, though. I think this is a great fight. I think if Hernandez is going to win, it's going to be a decision, and it's going to be probably a split or like a really close decision. I can't see him dominating RDR, and I can't see, if you were to pick RDR, I would imagine you're not going to say RDR is going to dominate Hernandez either. So this is going to be one of those where it is a really, really close contenders fight, the true number one contenders fight in the sport. This is awesome. I got Hernandez, though, but this is phenomenal. So then you got this, which just brings the whole mood down. No, Cheeto Vera versus Amian Zahabi. It doesn't really do too much for me personally. I mean, it's good. Like, it's a good fight. You know, you got two guys that are highly ranked, and, you know, Zahabi's somehow within the top 10. He somehow beat Jose Aldo, and Vera is somehow still in the top 10. But I don't mind it. Like, you can't really complain, right? Because we complain about, oh, we need higher ranked guys on these cards, and then we get them. And it's like, yeah, but not that one. It's like, at the end of the day, they are top 10 guys, whether we like it or not. So I think stylistically it could be all right. I could just, as much as this pains me to say, I could just see Zahabi kind of outboxing Vera to like a kind of I don't know. You know, I don't know. I'll pick Zahabi, though. Kevin Holland is on like the most generational run ever. I'm trying to copy it with my output of videos, so please like and sub. But Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott is actually a good fight. I actually really like this fight. I think Malott, would I say he deserves it? I mean, no offense. I know it's in Canada, so I get it. But he is only on like a 2-fight winning streak, whereas I feel like there are other welterweights like Randy Brown and That's all I can think of. No, there's other guys like Ramiz Brahimaj, who's on like a 2-fight finishing streak, I think, and there's other guys who I'm a little bit more impressed by, but Mike Malott is still doing his thing. He did lose to Neil Magny, but he's doing his thing. I actually think he could beat Kevin Holland. It's just I don't trust Kevin Holland, man. I just don't. I just don't. I appreciate that he's being consistent and that he's fighting and cool. All that's cool and all, but cool and all. All that's cool and all. All that's cool and all, but at the end of the day, like I just think Mike Malott's got this one. I think he's going to. I don't even know why I think he's going to win. I just think, I mean, he looked pretty good in his last fight, to be honest with you. And I think Kevin Holland is just too inconsistent for me to trust him. Whereas I feel like Mike Malott, though it was only his last fight that I was ultra impressed by, I wouldn't even say that, but I was impressed by it. I don't give a I'm just going to say Mike Malott wins a decision. How can you trust Kevin Holland, man? And then I pick Mike Malott and Kevin Holland subs him in the first. So who knows? But to be honest, I could see this being a fun fight. I could see this being a little bit of a back and forth. Or maybe on the flip side, Mike Malott just kind of outstrikes Kevin Holland to like a kind of a mid decision. There's two ways this fight could go. And speaking of two ways, we got two lesbian. Actually, I don't know if they are. Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jusita Vicious. Yeah, I don't know. This Manon Fiorot shit the bed against Shevchenko, and Jusita Vicious is on a pretty good run, to be honest with you. No Bunda though, so I don't really care about this one. This is actually a good women's fight. You got two women that are pretty highly ranked in the top 5. A little bit of name value. I believe one is French, one is Canadian, so cool. Moving on to, I'm gonna pick Jusita Vicious, by the way. Sorry. Moving on to Davison Figueiredo. I just called him Figueiredo. All right, cool. Versus Montel Jackson. I think this fight is really sick. I think this fight is awesome. I think this fight is really cool. At first, I thought it was random, and I still think it kind of is. But I like that they're giving a guy like Montel Jackson something. Just give him a jump up, somebody. Because you could have easily done Figgy versus like Song Yudong, Figgy versus maybe Umar, Figgy versus O'Malley, Figgy versus Cejudo. You could have done all that. But let's kind of use one of these, vets. Let's use one of these stars in Davison Figueiredo, and then let's build up another younger guy. So it's they're kind of doing like Umar and Mario, and I like that with that fight as well because I like that they're giving the kind of the new guys these big jump ups. I like it. I like it. So I like that we're giving Montel Jackson a shot at beating a legend like Davison Figueiredo. I don't know if this is going to be the co-main event. I'm going to assume it is. I don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, Davison Figueiredo in Brazil is insane. Like, just the idea of that is pretty cool. So, yeah, I think stylistically this can't really be boring, in my opinion. Like, Montel Jackson is pretty underrated, has some really nasty KOs, really fast hands. He's a really good striker, so I can't really see this being a grappling match or a boring Khamzat Chimaev-esque performance. Yes, I'm doubling down. That performance was boring. And Davison Figueiredo, I think he could do his thing, though. I'm going to lean towards Davison Figueiredo winning this one. I think it'll be a bit competitive. I think he'll probably have like a black eye or something, or maybe a cut on his cheek, a couple of cuts, maybe a busted lip. I don't know. Pause. No Jones. I think it will be a hard-fought victory, hard-fought win for Davison Figueiredo. Patchy Mix and Patricio Pitbull both also have fights that have sort of been announced or rumored. Well, I think they're actually official. So this one, Patchy Mix versus Jacob Wilklax. I don't know too much about this Jacob guy at all. I know he's got a Polish fan base. He's from Poland. He seems to be a good prospect with a good record. He might starch Patchy Mix from what I've seen and from what I've heard. He's pretty good. He's got some good power, good striking. Yeah, I mean, Patchy Mix, yeah, this is kind of crazy. Patchy Mix went from fighting Mario Batista, who's like decently ranked, to here's Jacob Wicklax, or whatever, however you say his last name. So no disrespect to him. I don't know too much about him, so I can't really give a definitive prediction. But look, if Patchy Mix fights the same way he fought in his last fight, yeah. And then you got, Patricio Pitbull versus Lusan Chieta. Again, I don't know too much about this guy either. I know this is going to be in Paris, so I'm assuming this guy is potentially French. Again, I don't really know too much about this guy, but it seems that he's got 2 belts in this picture, so he's got aura, I guess. I got to look into these guys. I'm not really I ain't too familiar with the outside of the UFC folks, but I do respect Patricio Pitbull a lot because he had that stinker with Yair, and the Danny Gay fight was a stinker too, to be fair, but still he won. He won, and he almost got a finish, and then this fight now he's taking against a guy who, I mean, really it's a jump down, right? Because you go from fighting freaking Yair Rodriguez, who's like borderline a number one contender. He's not, but he's in the top 5 somehow. Then you go from fighting Danny Gay, who's like bottom 15. Then you're fighting this like unranked outside the UFC prospect. That's kind of insane. So shout out to Patricio Pitbull and Patchy Mix. I'm not going to give him credit for fighting this guy because listen, kid, you don't really got a choice. But yeah, these are other fights that have been sort of announced that I almost forgot about because to be fair, it's not really like the biggest names, but Patchy Mix is back. Pitbull is back again this year, which is awesome. So shout out to both of them, I guess. So now let's have a look at some of the insane upcoming cards we got. So starting with UFC Paris, main event, of course, Nasruddin Imavov versus Caio Borralho. That's a great main event. That's another number one contenders fight within like a 2-month span. So of course this is going to happen, September, and then October you're getting Fluffy versus De Ridder. So I'm curious, I feel like what I like about it is it kind of forces the guys within these fights. It forces Borralho, Imavov, Fluffy, De Ridder to really try to get a finish, really try to have a good performance. Not a Khamzat Chimaev boring performance, but a good performance where potentially you get a KO, potentially you get a submission, potentially you get a 50-45 pure domination. So, man, middleweight is pretty insane right now. So that's awesome. I'm not really going to predict this, though. We're just going to look through. I'm not going to do predictions for all of these fights. But then you got Benoit Saint-Denis, Rufi. I said I wasn't going to do predictions, but Benoit, you're getting slimed out, little bro. I love Benoit Saint-Denis, man. I'm like the only Benoit Saint-Denis fan on the planet, probably. So, but he's going to get slimed out. But I still love this fight. Like, on paper, it just looks exciting. I think there's no world where, even if it's a war, it's going to be a war. Even if it's a KO, it's still a KO. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, you're going to get something out of this, whether it's a KO, a back and forth scrap. Even if Benoit somehow wins, it'd be insane. So I love this fight as well. And plus, you get 2 fighting nerds on one night. That's pretty cool. Pause. No Jones on that as well. Mason Jones versus Bolaji Oki is pretty solid. And Paul Craig is somehow still employed. Fares Yam, Cal Fernandez is great. Even though I wish Fares Yam was getting a ranked opponent because he's put together a better winning streak than Mauricio Rufi, but hey, man, it is what it is, man. Omar Sy, Brenton Ribeiro, 2 jobbers. Tybura versus Ante D'Elia is good. That's a good heavyweight fight, but I don't trust these outside of the UFC fucking signings anymore, so who knows with D'Elia. Gustafsson, Renat, that's a really good fight, to be honest, and I'm going to be watching that with pure hatred for Renat. No offense, but I'm not going to be rooting for him to win this one. William Gomez, Robert Ruchala, and you got some other nice fights. Trey Waters, Brativar, Sean Abannon, nice Bunda. So, overall, you got some really nice fights there, right? Then, move on, UFC Noche. Let's move on to this card. Freaking Diego Lopez, Gene Silva, like, obscenely just amazing main event, right? Rafa Garcia, Jared Gordon. Like, that's really good. Jared Gordon's coming off of that nasty first-round KO. I don't know. What is that at the bottom of my screen, by the way? It's like a weird black line. You guys see that? Anyways, then you got Jose Medina versus Dusko Tudorovic. Look at his egghead. Dusko Tudorovic has such an egghead. No offense to him. Claudio Puelas, Joaquim Silva, Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. Shout out to Apache Mix. Zachary Reese, Cedric Dumas. Edgar Showers is on here. Some solid. It's not as good as the Paris card for sure. No offense, but this ain't as good as the Paris card. I know Dumont was supposed to be on there too, so yeah, pain, right? Then you got Olberg Reyes. Now I think this card isn't complete yet. You got Olberg versus Reyes. Junior Tafa. They love the Tafa brothers so much. It's not even funny. He's gonna face Ibo Aslan. Jimmy Crute, Ivan Urslan. Navo, Sterling, Rodolfo, that's all right. Du Choi, Daniel Santos. I believe this got taken off this card, but I do love this fight. I think this will be a sick fight, but I think it got taken off. Loma, Lu, I don't know who that is. And then Kobe, am I casual? Kobe Thickness versus Josias Musasa and Democratic Republic of the What the fuck? Democratic Republic of the Congo. I've never. What the? Who are these? Yo, all right. This card's all right too. Obviously this is a bit more far out, so we're not gonna get the complete card for that one. Then you got Ankalaev Pereira. Where Alex is gonna get slimed out, right? Sadly, Ankalaev Pereira. Marab, Corey Sandhagen, co-main event. Feature fight, Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree. Abuz Magomedov, Joe Pyfer. Ateb Guatier versus Ozzy Diaz. Edmund Shabazi and Andre Moon. Okay, it gets worse and worse. Veronica, well, actually, you know what? It gets better. Veronica Hardy versus, who cares who her opponent is? Chris Gutierrez versus Farad Brasher. Oh my god, I can't say his name. What the fuck? Farid, what the fuck is going on? Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat. There you go. Who names their kid Farid? Who the fuck names their kid Farid? Like, would you name your kid Farid? Honestly. And honestly, I guarantee you there's going to be someone watching his name Farid and they're going to get so offended. I'm sorry, but Farid, really? Farid. Like, you might as well just name him. I was about to say the F word. Not the fucking word, but. So anyways, Oliveira versus Fiziev. Right? So then you got this. The fun never ends, right? It's like a freaking Diddy party. You got freaking Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. Insane main event, like just came out of nowhere. Vicente Luque Ponzinibbio. So this card's not done. Then obviously you saw that Figgy versus Montel Jackson will be on this card. So I mean, so far that's looking nice. The Vancouver card we already saw. This just got announced. So the Ritter Hernandez and Kevin Hall and Mike Malott and anything else? Asmad Bakoa versus this guy. This guy's the training partner of Alex Pereira. I think this is his debut. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this guy, this is his debut. He's 1-1. He's pretty good. Like I think has a win over Adesanya and Pereira. He's real solid. So then you got that. Then of course Aspinall versus Gane. Right? Aspinall Gane. So far it's all we got is Aspinall Gane. We got Volkov Almeida. We got Rakic versus. Actually, we got a lot of fights. Damn, okay. We got Volkov Almeida. Sick fight. I love that fight, right? I think that's going to be a good fight. Rakic Mirzakhanov is a sick fight. Hamdi. Okay, what the fuck are we doing? Well, Chris Barnett is back. He kind of looks like Dave Blunt a little bit, He kind of looks like he makes Dave Blunt look kind of skinny, though. Then you got Ikram Lascara versus you. Oh, man, I love this fight. Ikram versus the Iron Turtle. You guys know I love the Iron Turtle. Right? As that Maxim Mitroposo. That's all right. It's okay. So far, it's solid, right? Obviously, it's well far out, so we're not really, like, worried about that. Then, of course, UFC Qatar. We don't even know what's going to be on that card, but I'd assume it's in Qatar. It's going to probably have, like, an Arman Sarukian main event, I bet. I bet you it's going to be Arman versus Paddy with a co-main event of, like, Hamzat Chimaev defending his... I bet you it's going to be, like, overly stacked. And then, of course, JDM versus Islam Makhachev in Madison Square Garden. Presumably, Pantoja might defend one more time. And then, of course, maybe Ilya Topuria, maybe even Tom Aspinall. There's so many champions that we're waiting for, and Zhang Wei Li and Shevchenko. I mean, who cares about those two, right? But so I think the rest of the year, Volkanovski. How did I forget about my GOAT, Volkanovski as well? Yeah, the fun never stops. Again, it's like a John Jones party. So, yeah, overall, the rest of the year looks insane. That's what I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts? That's what I got for you guys today. I already said that. I'm a dumbass. I have CT. See you guys next time. Peace.